have been well trained.
No.
You don't have to carry a sword to be powerful.
I won't fail you.
Oh, do not.
I'm not afraid.
Please don't try.
Hello everybody, welcome to another coverage video of 2018 World Championships for Star Wars Destiny. This was originally recorded by the Chance Cube live at the Convention Center at FFG headquarters, and we're going to be seeing a battle right now between Eric J piloting the 5 Battle Droid deck and Gavin S running eHondo, eYoda. Both of these decks, decks that I personally have been able to check out and play, and eHondo definitely making a huge appearance at the World Championship. The consistency of Yoda's dice with the specials and the double focus side, and then Hondo also having a focus side and those specials, 2 special sides on Hondo's die each. Powerful deck, very consistent. Looks like he's also running Stolen Intel, so he's going to start out with 6 cards in his hand. Gavin running eHondo, eYoda. That extra card definitely making a big difference. And then over on the Battle Droid side, looks like he's running the Ewok Village to get rid of those shields off of Yoda and Hondo. And then the Yoda Hondo player playing the Emperor's Throne Room to get those specials guaranteed, but Battle Droids win the roll-off. Each of these players wanted to keep their own... each player, I think, wanted to keep their own battlefield if possible. Not sure if Yoda Hondo is running hyperspace jump. If they are, then he may have chosen the Battle Droid battlefield either way. So those extra shields definitely making a difference. One reason why you'd want to start with the Battle Droids there is definitely because of its massive damage output when you can get the right sides. The indirect damage, I mean, just with his die out there with absolutely no upgrades, he can possibly do up to 9 damage on his first turn. So he gets out the Aftermath. There are definitely a few cards that we're going to be seeing from the Battle Droid player as they get started here. Aftermath, which he already has played out, will definitely want to be looking for that attrition, so each time a Battle Droid is defeated, he can deal a damage to one of his opponent's characters. That's definitely a positive. It's definitely a plus for the Battle Droid side. Yoda Hondo getting that 4-speed special out first, but being best defensed out of the way. So he's got the 4-speed, but Hondo being unable to benefit off of Yoda's special chaining. Hondo rolls out and gets a focus on each of his die. While the focus is definitely powerful in Destiny, you don't always want to see it on your damage dealer. Similar to like Luke Skywalker from the Awakening set, when he would roll the focus, while it's still a good side, you really would mostly want to be seeing the 3 damage side, both on Hondo and on Luke Skywalker. Battle Droid's rolling out, getting 1 indirect damage, so he was able to activate one of his Battle Droids. That Battle Droid was defeated, however. He best defensed the Battle Droid, and then Hondo was able to do the extra damage, and he just took it. Hondo's special, while it can do 3 damage a round, if your opponent just gives you money, it actually prevents that damage. I wonder if he needs those resources to do something fun later. Might see it coming up. He's able to roll out the last 2 Battle Droids. The ability for them, 50% of the time, basically, to be able to roll out an additional Battle Droid can be pretty powerful. I tried running it with a Guardian effect once to little effect, but still fun. All right, so Eric J with the Battle Droids playing Strength in Numbers. Definitely a kind of a shoe-in card for the Battle Droid deck. Being able to pay 2 resources to deal damage to an opponent's characters equal to the number of exhausted characters you have. So potential of 5 damage. He did 4. Now, it is indirect, but the key about indirect damage is that it usually stacks up pretty quick. I personally like indirect damage because you don't have to overkill a character in order to defeat them. If both of their characters have 1 health left and you roll out a 2 indirect side, then each of those characters is defeated. You don't have to put both of the damage onto a single character. So all the Battle Droid player theoretically has to do is exactly 20 damage plus whatever shields or healing that the eHondo player may have. So after the first round, we have a defeated Battle Droid, Hondo with 3 damage on him. So as far as the damage race goes, looks like eHondo is ahead, but that can change pretty quickly when you have large amounts of indirect damage getting thrown around there. And even though he ended up resolving only 2 damage sides on his characters, he on the Battle Droid, he still is able to do quite a bit of work and get quite a bit of damage through using that Strength in Numbers card. Definitely a good play, being able to play that instead of trying to do something else. But Yoda rolling in and getting the same die as last time. Not bad. Looks like we have removal of the focus. A little too quick for me on Eric's side. Didn't quite see what that card was, but it was a single cost. It could have been a flank or an outnumber. Both of those having to do with how many characters you have and whether or not they're ready or not for flank. Getting a lone operative on Hondo. Okay, that's awesome. Lone operative definitely getting a lot more play now that resources seem to be a little more easy to come by, especially in a eHondo deck. You are making money like crazy. Lone operative being able to heal the character it's on for 2 damage, and if it's the last character you have, getting 3 damage healed potentially each round is definitely huge. Nice part about it is so eHondo is going to be running Second Chance and Lone Operative in here, I'm pretty sure. The nice part about Lone Operative is it is not yellow character only like Second Chance is. So you can get that Lone Operative on Yoda and basically guarantee that he's going to be healing every single round. So not really sure who I would have gone for in this particular matchup. Yoda definitely does get rid of the consistency and cannot do Second Chance. But the Lone Operative is still on board, still online for Yoda. All right, so definitely have a good showing of damage over here on the Battle Droid side. This is definitely what I was referring to. So Battle Droids right now are showing 5 damage, 3 of it being indirect, and 5 damage is definitely respectable in a round. It's no Sabine, but dang, that's definitely a positive thing. All right. So eHondo, Gavin, is playing Impulsive, being able to resolve one of his dice and then take an additional action. Definitely, I think that's a pretty fantastic card as well. So he does use the Yoda ability. Lone Operative was showing a 2 discard side. Once again, Lone Operative, very powerful card, and now that resources are easier to come by, definitely think you should be playing it if you can fit it in your deck. So he healed the 2 damage, but then was dealt indirect damage again, lost a shield, and took 2 additional damage on Hondo. Since he has the ability to heal each round with that Lone Operative die, not a bad call to just go ahead and throw the damage on Hondo. All right. Sorry about that for a second. So, what do we got going on here? Ooh, I actually see another very fun card over here in Eric J on the Battle Droid side. And that is Ground Battalion. It's a 4-cost support. It's got a ton of damage sides on it. It is pretty expensive to get out. Not sure if he'll be able to get it out against this eHondo. I would assume that eventually he'd want to start paying to get Hondo's damage dealing off the table, but that is my own personal opinion, not necessarily what should happen here. So Ground Battalion has another unique ability, which is after you play it, you actually get to, or after you activate it each round, you get to take control of the battlefield. It does not claim the battlefield, but you actually get to take control of the battlefield. I hope we get to see that a little bit later in the game. So, Battle Droid player ended up using a special card called No Survivors. It's a villain gray card, and it costs 1. It says deal 1 damage to each of your opponent's characters if they all have 1 damage on them. Basically, I'm not reading that verbatim, but that's the idea. So, because Yoda and Hondo each had 1 damage on them, they each get another damage for one resource. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Yoda getting a second force speed. If he can get all those force speed specials out there, he can pretty much roll in without mitigation being able to do anything. Makes an interesting choice to activate Hondo first. Hondo is at half health. He is at 5 damage now. So I think he's trying to be a little careful and trying to get that lone operative out there to prevent additional damage. Lucky for Gavin here, Eric seems to be rolling a lot of blanks on the battle droids. I definitely see that the blanks are frustrating to get, but battle droids do have 4 damage sides on them. So you're either getting damage or re-rolling. That's for sure. So, that's funny. His Yoda dice really loving the 2 focus and 1 disrupt side. They seem to be rolling that quite frequently. I love it when my dice are consistent like that, but at the same time, I'm sure he was wishing that disrupt side could have been a special, especially since his 4-speed die didn't hit any of the specials themselves. So, let's see. I'm seeing a Force Solution and a Rebel on the Yoda Hondo side in his hands, and Obi-Wan's lightsaber. Definitely a positive thing. If you can get Obi-Wan's lightsaber on Yoda, and if you can just hit 1 special on one of Yoda's die, that's 3 unblockable damage every round. That's a dead battle droid every other round minimum. Just with Yoda and one of those upgrades, one of those Obi-Wan's lightsabers. Rebel, another really fun card. Yoda and Hondo each have discard sides. Hondo actually showing one right now. We may actually get to see a Rebel play, which could be fun. Rebel being you have to have a discard side showing on your dice, but you do not have to resolve it. And then you get to play a card from your discard pile, either with actually discounting the card that you play from your discard pile by 1. So even though Rebel costs 1, you actually can get an additional card out of your discard pile without having to go crazy on it. Now, those of you who are watching from home, you can see Eric discarded to reroll, and we saw him roll each die individually. And the reason that is because he wants to make sure that his opponent knows which character belongs to which die. And that is a fantastic way to do things. If you can do that for your opponent, it makes it a lot easier, and you don't have to question things as much about what your opponent is doing as far as keeping track of which character and which die goes to what. So we do get 3 indirect damage off from the battle droids. He Force Illusions, loses a Force Wave, another Lone Operative, and a handcrafted light bow. All cards that, all upgrade cards that could have definitely helped speed up this game for Yoda Hondo. But also saving 3 damage on that Hondo when he only has, when he's already at half health. Not a bad play. Not a bad play at all. All right. So, looks like on Eric's side, I can still see that ground battalion. He's keeping that up in the forefront. Not sure if he's going to have enough resources. I think I see a Battle Fatigue, which is a removal card. Oh, Gavin S. rolling the double dealing. Oh my goodness. I hadn't even thought of putting that in that deck. Oh, that's a brilliant card. All right. We're getting some cool spicy plays here. Eric J. playing Imperial Backing, which allowed him to get that. Oh man. Okay, so the play was you play Imperial Backing for 2 resources. It says play a support from your hand, decreasing its cost by the number of characters you have. So for true resources and playing that card, he's able to play the ground battalion right out immediately. Oh, that was great. He didn't even have to save up all the resources for it. All right, going back to Gavin, he played out double dealing, which is every time you roll a special side, you're able to you exhaust the support to get a resource. So he's just rolling in the dough. Then over on Eric's side, we get the squad tactics, so he can roll out every single one of his battle droids, and he ends up with 3 indirect damage. Definitely a positive thing for Eric on this particular round. All right. Whew. This is getting really spicy. This is awesome. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun at home. If you haven't seen this before, I'm hoping... I hope you haven't seen it before. If you have, then awesome. And you kind of know what's coming up. If you haven't seen this before, this game definitely continues on and gets pretty fun to see how the different swings and damage take place. So... Gavin right now sitting with 5 damage on Hondo, 3 on Yoda, and then we've got Eric J with the battle droids, still 1 defeated character and only 3 damage on his living characters. So if we're looking at the damage race, it looks like Eric's just 1 damage behind Yoda Hondo, which is not a bad place to be. So we get the 4-speed special rolling in. Yoda is showing 2 discard sides, so definitely not going to be chaining specials on the second action. Hondo rolls in, gets a resource, 2 disrupt, and another discard. If he wanted, he could get rid of another 3 cards out of Eric's hand. Oh, he is doing 2 of those discard sides, getting rid of 2 cards. Looks like that might have been all the cards he had left. I was not keeping track of that, unfortunately. But yeah, I think Eric might be out of cards this round, which is can be a frustrating place to be. Those discard sides, while they're not the highest damage dealing sides, they can still hurt almost as much as damage. So we get the 3 indirect going, 2 to Hondo, 1 to Yoda. So battle droids kind of pulling ahead here in the damage race. We still have the lone operative die out there, but it is not showing a special. Although Gavin definitely has rerolls in his hand. 1, 2, 3, 4 rerolls still if he wants it. He looks like he's debating between Obi's lightsaber and Rebel. He still has that discard side showing if he wanted to get rid of a die, but I'm not sure if there's any... he's only showing 1 die out with a blank, so I doubt we're looking at removal from the discard. He does discard Overconfidence to reroll 2 of his die. All right, he gets the Lone Operative Special, another discard side, and a shield on his 4-speed. Eric rolling in, looks like he definitely has played this game before. So he rolls in the ground battalion and takes control of the battlefield. The reason that's important, if you've seen the first round, round 1 of day 1A, one of the players there actually played a card called We Have Them Now, which allowed him to turn 4 of his dice to whatever side he wants, or to sides showing damage. And that is dependent on you having the battlefield. So there are quite a few villain cards and even some neutral cards as well that are quite important to have the battlefield. So Ground Battalion, a good play if you're running those particular cards. Looks like Eric goes ahead and claims no shields on Yoda or Hondo. That's one of the reasons why Ewok Village, I personally think, was very popular during this World Championship, because so many of the decks were running shields and so many were not running shields. So you've got the Rey Aylas, you've got the Yoda Qui-Gons that were being run a couple times, and then you've got the Yoda Hondos, which can generate a lot of shields, especially if Gavin were to be playing that Obi-Wan's lightsaber. He'd definitely be relying on shields to help get some of that damage out with Obi's special. But it looks like he hasn't gone for that play, and I wonder if that was a smart decision because he knew that the Ewok Village was out there. It could have definitely been a thoughtful play there. So looking through his discard pile, because he has that Rebel, he plays the Rebel. He gets to play a card from his discard pile for reducing his cost by 1. So he plays the second Lone Operative out on Hondo, giving him potential 4 healing each round. We might see Eric switch targets here because of how much healing is on Hondo. It stinks to kind of lose that 6 damage that's on him right now, but you're going to have to be overcoming 4 damage just to keep it on him. And that may be a difficult thing for Eric to take care of. We just don't know yet. Alright, we get an additional 3 damage from a Hondo special on one of the other battle droids. So we actually have 2 battle droids showing 3 damage each. I'm not sure why he didn't just kill or defeat one of the battle droid that was at half health already. I wonder if he's trying to prevent Eric from getting that extra resource during the round, which is not a bad call. As we get set up for this next round here, I'll just circle back over to Lone Operative. So the sides on Lone Operative, it is a 3-cost neutral yellow upgrade. Nope, it's a hero upgrade, sorry. And it's got a 2 melee side, a 2 discard side, a resource, and 2 specials. And those specials do heal your character 2 damage, or if it's the final character you have, 3 damage each round. So if Yoda were to die, those Lone Operatives would heal 6 a round. So now that I have thought that through, might not be the call to switch targets just yet. If you can take those off the field and prevent that healing, that might be the way to go. Because right now Yoda has 0 damage dealing ability, so might be the right call. All right, looks like we had another best defense. So we've got 3 battle droids at half health. But getting rid of those Yoda die is definitely potent. All right. So it looks like we have an ensnare. Ooh, you know, the name of that card may have just escaped me. I believe it is ensnare. It allows you to remove up to 2 dice, showing up to a value of 3. Getting rid of that ground battalion die, which does have a 4 damage side on it. Not a bad call on Gavin for the Yoda Hondo side. We get a discard to re-roll. Ooh, a few blanks. Definitely not something you can't recover from, though. But those Lone Operatives definitely letting them down on their specials. Interestingly enough, Hondo with 2 Lone Operatives on him has 2 special sides on all of the dice that he's rolling. And with Yoda and the Force Speed, he has 2 specials at least on all of his die. So, yeah, we re-roll and hit the special circus right there. Both Lone Operatives, Hondo special, Hondo focus, and a Force Speed special. We're definitely going to be seeing Gavin probably finishing up resolving his dice in 1 round. We do get some removal in the form of, I think it was an outnumber, getting rid of Hondo's die. Now, Hondo does have that built-in ability to, you can remove the die by paying him off. But I wonder if Eric was just worried about him getting the resource, or who knows? He might. I'm just not sure what he was thinking through there. Hoping to do. Made it so he didn't have to pass though. All right, we get an indirect on a battle droid. Rolling another battle droid, get another range damage. So we got 2 range and a +2 indirect showing on the battle droids. We have 4 damage showing. Easy pickings on the 2 range sides. It's hard not to walk into those easy pickings sometimes. I myself have been a victim multiple times. All right, so rolled out the last battle droid, got the 2 and 6 indirect damage. Yoda Hondo claims 3 indirect damage across the characters. I'm thinking he's probably going to put it all on Hondo. Hondo has just so much healing ability right now. Now he's only at 5 damage. If he can consistently heal a net of 1 damage around, he's probably going to be in pretty good shape for this game. You know, that is one hard thing with super expensive supports or upgrades. They usually just have 1 die, and if your opponent can remove that die, it can hurt quite a bit. The old Millennium Falcon that had 0 blanks, much like Yoda, I was playing a game the other day, and just against my wife, and oh man, she kept removing my Falcon die. I'd roll it out, hit the 4 range or the 3 range or the 3 discard, and she would just keep removing that one die. So, all right, so we got an attrition over on the Battle Droid side. I believe I mentioned that earlier. Attrition means that every time one of his Battle Droids is knocked out, he's going to be able to do a damage to the eHondo player. So that's definitely something that Gavin's going to have to keep in mind as he continues to play, is that if he does defeat a character, he's going to end up needing to make sure that he is not in lethal range from that 1 damage of a defeated Battle Droid. Alright, so he rolls in the Hondo and gets the Lone Operative special, so he's going to be healing another 2 damage off of that Hondo. Right in just a minute here, he does have a eYoda special, which he uses the second action on the Force speed to resolve. He gets a resource, turns a die. Looks like it's the other eYoda die. The other eYoda, what's he going to do? Gains another resource and focuses another one again. Oh my goodness, and heals 4 damage off the Hondo. Hondo sitting at 1 damage now. He has 1 damage. All that work. Oh. Lone Operative. It's a positive card and die to have if you're a Yellow Hero player. Got to make sure you got the money, though, to be able to play it out. It does not have redeploy, so if that character is defeated, if your opponent can burst them down quickly, then that's it. Oh, my goodness. We got double attrition on Eric's side. So each time one of his battle droids is defeated, he gets to do 2 damage to the character of his choice on his opponent's side. Whew. Ooh, what do you do? Do you try to go for a Hondo now? I think the right call is Hondo. Yoda's still having no damage side, so if Eric can hold out for that, it's going to be the way to go. All right. So it looks like Gavin's taking a quick break, maybe asking a question. Definitely something you want to do. If you do have a question in any kind of round, just go ahead and go out there, ask the TO, ask the people who are in charge of the game, whatever game you're playing. It doesn't have to be at Worlds. It can just be at your local tournament, or even if you're playing with a friend. Feel free to ask people. Jump on the many different websites and Discords, or hit up the Chance Cube at their many different contacts to ask questions about how to play the game and specific rulings. The guys over at the Chance Cube have an amazing repertoire of knowledge that they can draw upon to help you with this game. Alright, so now that we're back into it, Yoda sitting at 4 damage, Hondo sitting at the 1 damage. We've still got 3 battle droids at half health, 1 battle droid at full health, and 1 defeated battle droid. So it looks like we got a discard off from one of the Hondo dice. We roll in the ground battalion. Let's see if he wants to take control of the battlefield or not. Looks like it ended up being a 3 indirect, so showing 4 indirect and 5 indirect and a range on the battle droid side. One particular card that I enjoy playing with battle droids is one called Locked and Loaded. Allows you to turn 2 of your dice, up to 2 of your dice, to sides showing indirect damage. If he was able to run that, we could be seeing quite a bit of damage coming through. Oh, it looks like we get another ensnare. He removes the ground battalion die. See, this is what happened to me with the Millennium Falcon against my wife. Just kept removing my best die. Ugh. That can happen. It can hurt quite a bit. All right, so we get 3 indirect damage from the battle droids. And looks like Eric retroactively did take control of the battlefield. However, I think Gavin ended up claiming immediately. So he did remember the ground battalion trigger to take control of the battlefield. Didn't do a lot for him. But like I said, there are some cards that deal with controlling the battlefield, including some die removal cards. You want to make sure that you have those available if at all possible. So Hondo continuing his ability to roll up by 1 resource each round. So he is now at 4 damage. So the round previous he was at 5, and the round before that he was at 6. So he's been netting a healing factor of 1 per round. Looks like Gavin's checking out the amount of cards left in Eric's deck. Ooh, he is getting pretty low. I'm seeing 3 cards in deck, 5 in hand. So if he can continue to mill using Yoda and Hondo's mill sides, we could... and even the Lone Operative. Ooh, Lone Operative with the 2 mil. Could definitely win this game on mill for Gavin here. Rolls out, gets the Hondo and Lone Operative special, but Eric does have some resources to pay. It'll be interesting to see if he takes advantage of that. We are showing, I believe it's a 2 range on the Ground Battalion. Being able to focus that fire on a character. Looks like he special chains or uses a special on Yoda to turn a Lone Operative to a special, and he does mill off the top of the deck. Does get rid of a card off the top of Eric's deck. Does it again. So Eric is down to 1 card in deck, 5 in hand. Looks like Gavin is definitely switching to a mill strategy. Not a bad idea when your opponent is getting down on cards. It also protects him from those double attritions on the Battle Droid side if he can win off of mill instead. So he does. So it looks. Oh. All right. So it looks like Eric tried to play no survivors, but Hondo doesn't have 0 damage on him right now, which means no survivors is ineffective and cannot be played. There are some rulings if you want to watch some of the other videos later. I know there were quite a few rulings over on the main FFG streaming table about how particular cards are played and if you've declared an action on playing. In the beginning rounds, though, it looks like we're trying to keep it a little casual. It's not a huge deal if you're unable to play a card, but you probably want to brush up on the rules of that. All right, so we rolled out. We got a lot of damage on Eric's side, going towards the Hondo Yoda. Second chance on Hondo now. I'm kind of wondering if you switch targets, but he gets a Rebel off. Let's see what he pulls from his discard pile. He can end up removing some die. I wonder if he easy pickings. Yep, easy pickings the 2 1 indirect base damage sides. So those Rebels definitely giving him some extra oomph out of his removal, being able to pull those back from his discard pile. Yellow definitely has some of the best removal in Hero. So, all right, so we're getting rid of a card out of hand. So I believe Eric is now down to 3 cards in hand, 1 card in deck, and he discards to re-roll. Double blanks. Starting to get close to the end here. So Gavin is claiming the battlefield, hoping he can get into the next round. Have Eric pick up his last card, which means he'll have 3 cards in hand and plenty of discard sides on his characters and upgrades to be able to get rid of those. I think we're gonna. And Eric discards to reroll. He's got 2 cards left total, so we get 2 damage in. He does switch to Yoda. I think this is. I think we're really close to game. Just the amount of mill sides that are over there. I don't think it's going to be super difficult for Gavin to be able to get those out of Eric's hand. And so switching tactics after those attritions came out was probably a really good call. So absolutely 0 specials on Yoda and his force speeds. We got 3 shields and a disrupt. Ground Battalion rolls in, hits a blank. Eric does remember his trigger and decides to act on it and take control of the battlefield. Yoda rolls in. Yoda discards to reroll, hits 2 disrupt on Yoda's die, and 2 force speed specials. Ends up getting some damage off. Ooh, Scorched Earth. Oh, okay, that's actually another card that I'm quite enamored with. It does damage, indirect damage to your opponent equal to the number of dice in their field. So that was a pretty good play there. Ended up doing 4 indirect. So we get the 4 speed specials. He had 4 actions. First action was to roll in eHondo. Second action, heal damage. Third action to do a discard slide, I believe. And he may have passed his next action there. All right, we get a mislead play. I think we're about done here. I know we came really close to time on this, but so at the end of the day, Gavin winning, Eric taking a single loss. But you know, well fought game for both these guys. Thanks very much for watching.